My name is Evan Calder, and I still regret answering my phone that night. You're not going to believe this, but the morgue drawer would not stay shut. I'm not talking about a loose hinge or a bad latch. I mean, it wanted to open. It slid out slowly, deliberately, like something inside had learned patience. The sound wasn't loud at first, just a soft metallic scrape. That sound followed me for weeks afterward. I heard it in my sleep, in the hum of my refrigerator, in the way doors settle at night. When my cousin called me, her voice was shaking so badly I barely recognized it. She didn't scream. That scared me more. She whispered my name, like saying it too loudly would wake something. She said, "Evan, it keeps opening." I asked what it was, already knowing I wouldn't like the answer. She told me she was alone in the morgue. She told me the drawer moved by itself. She told me it wasn't empty. I laughed nervously because denial is easier than terror. I told her it was probably the rails. She didn't respond. Instead, I heard metal scraping through the phone speaker. Then I heard her breathing stop. That's when I knew this wasn't a joke. That's when I wished I'd let the call go to voicemail. Because some doors aren't meant to stay closed, and some things don't like being locked away. This was one of them, and once it notices you, it doesn't forget. It waits.
My cousin's name is Lena Calder, and she worked the night shift at an old county hospital. The kind of hospital built decades ago, with underground hallways and forgotten rooms. The morgue sat in the lowest level, far from patient wings and sunlight. The lights flickered constantly, buzzing like insects trapped in glass. Every footstep echoed too loudly against the tile floors. Even breathing felt disrespectful down there. Lena was used to it, though. She said the dead were easier to deal with than the living. That changed the night the drawer opened. She told me it was drawer C-17, one she had already logged and sealed. The body inside had arrived earlier that evening. No ID, no family, no explanation beyond found unresponsive. She remembered that detail because something about the face unsettled her. The eyes hadn't fully closed, the mouth rested slightly open. She locked the drawer and walked away. 5 minutes later, she heard the sound. Steel sliding on steel. Slow, controlled. She turned around and saw the drawer open several inches. She thought maybe the floor was uneven. She shoved it closed harder than necessary. She double-checked the lock. She even leaned her weight into it. Then she stepped back. She didn't want to look, but she did. And that's when the handle twitched. Lena told me she froze where she stood, flashlight shaking in her hand. The drawer moved again, inch by inch. There was no breeze, no vibration, no reason. She approached slowly, telling herself she was imagining things. She pushed the drawer closed a second time. That's when she felt resistance. Not mechanical, not friction, pressure. Something inside pushed back. She said it felt like a palm pressing against the steel from the other side. She stumbled backward and dropped her flashlight. The beam rolled across the floor and landed on the drawer. The handle bent slightly outward. Then came the sound, a wet, dragging noise, like skin shifting against metal. She called out to security with trembling hands. While she waited, the drawer stayed still. Too still, like it was listening. When the guards arrived, they laughed. They joked about nerves and long shifts. One of them grabbed the handle and shoved it closed. He locked it and turned away. That's when the drawer slammed open, not slowly this time, violently, hard enough to dent the wall behind it. And inside, the body had changed. The corpse's arm was no longer at its side. The hand stretched outward, fingers curled like it was reaching. The guards stopped laughing. The air felt thick, heavy, wrong. One of them whispered that the body hadn't been logged like that. The fingers twitched. Just once. Enough. Lena screamed. The lights flickered violently overhead. Then the drawer slid back in on its own. Smooth, quiet, satisfied. Security evacuated the floor immediately. They reviewed the camera footage later. That's when things got worse. The footage showed the drawer opening while Lena sat at her desk. It showed it closing again before she ever noticed, over and over, all night. Sometimes when no one was there, sometimes when someone stood inches away, sometimes while the drawer was empty. The body was transferred the next morning, but the drawer still opens, even now. Maintenance replaced the rails, they replaced the locks, they replaced the drawer itself. It didn't matter. C-17 still slides open, still waits.
Lena quit that night and never went back. She doesn't work in medicine anymore. She barely sleeps. She keeps lights on at all times. Sometimes she wakes up to the sound of metal scraping. She swears it's getting closer. The hospital denies everything. They sealed off that section of the morgue. Officially, it's under renovation. Unofficially, no one will go near it alone. New hires don't last long. They say the drawer opens when you aren't looking. They say it never opens fully, like it wants you to come closer, like it wants help or permission. The worst part is the final report. The body from C-17 was never identified, no fingerprints matched, no dental records existed, and the cause of death was listed as undetermined. No trauma, no disease, no explanation, just a note scribbled at the bottom. Subject exhibited post-mortem activity. They crossed it out, but not before someone copied it, not before Lena read it, not before it noticed her. So now I'm asking you, was it a broken latch, a trick of the rails, or something that never accepted being locked away? Because places like morgues are built for endings, and sometimes what's inside doesn't agree. If this story got under your skin, that's only the beginning. There are more stories like this, worse ones. Stories hospitals don't want told. Stories buried under paperwork and silence. If you want to hear them, subscribe to the channel right now. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next nightmare. Drop your theory in the comments. Tell me what you think was in drawer C-17. And remember, if you ever hear something moving behind a locked door, don't open it. It's already aware of you, and it's been waiting.